Hey cats, it's your midsole man Eddbud here. I review running shoes here on YouTube, lots of them. Today I'm here to help out those folks who are after a particular pair of running shoes, the one that does it all, the all-in-one, the all-rounder, the Ian Botham of running shoes. A model that just seems to excel in everything. I've gone through my shoe collection and rotation and picked out 4 pairs I think hit the spot that you can grab for just about any sort of daily training or maybe even racing too. Which pairs present the best value across the board right now in 2025? The best do-it-all shoe. Let's get to it. Thanks for tuning in, people. It is always appreciated. Do help the channel to continue to grow. Hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up like too. Drop us a comment as well to help with that YouTube algorithm. Dankeschön. The best do-it-all shoe, I've got 4 pairs for you. The Adizero Evo SL from Adidas, the Zoomfly 6 from Nike, Novablast 5 from ASICS, and a shoe that's grown on me over time, the Puma Deviate Nitro 3. Stats on the screen for you right now. These are the stats for my UK 11 or US 12, perhaps sometimes a US 11.5 in fact, depending on the model. Evo SL, easily the lightest of all the shoes in today's video. And interestingly, the Zoomfly 6 as well, not all that much heavier. A couple of shoes here that are just simply midsole foam shoes without any sort of extra additives in there like carbon plates. And the Zoomfly 6 and the Deviate Nitro 3 both have a carbon plate. A couple of models coming in around about £135 and the other two at £155. When I went through the collection, there are 2 that really do stand out in terms of do-it-all stuff. That's the Evo SL and the ASICS Novablast 5. I mean, this one's much championed as a model, though this time around a little bit softer perhaps than what people wanted. Still feel it presents some really good value. These coming in round about the same price. I mean, 130 quid for some top tier foam is pretty good. No extra midsole plates or stability elements added into these 2. I think these give you a really nice cushioned, forgiving ride. A nice low weight as well, considering the amount of stack that's on offer in this one. Too many of the out-and-out daily running shoes are just quite bulky these days. Certainly some of the stuff from Nike always comes in for me about like 350 grams, which is a lot of shoe on foot. I know it's for training and it doesn't really matter, but when you've got a shoe that's so light that offers the same sort of level of protection under the foot, then it's a no-brainer. Makes these ideal for some faster paced training and racing. One of the lightest shoes around actually. At like 260 grams, this one's not that much heavier than some of the out-and-out race shoes that I've reviewed. I think there was a couple from On that were actually round about this sort of level of weight. That tells you what you need to know about the Evo SL. This one provides a nice peppy ride without any sort of carbon plate elements in there, which is almost like an expectation of a race shoe these days. I think the price, the midsole durability, and the longevity really with this sort of Light Strike Pro foam here, this is only going to get better and better the more you use it. Initially the shoe didn't blow me away really, but now I've got to grips with it, I've really started to warm to it. Become one of the better models I've utilised after release. Though I am a little bit upset I got this white version because it just looks awful. Once you've used it a few times, it's impossible to clean that mesh. At least it's a bit more available now though. There's loads of other colourways out there. I think at around about 130 quid, it's one of the best in terms of do-it-all stuff. A cracker. I'm going to give this a Botham score, a 4.5 out of 5. Only lowered by poor lace quality. They're just a bit too narrow really and thin. At about 1.5 ounces heavier is the Novablast 5. Though you've got a much wider landing platform here, certainly in the forefoot of this shoe versus the Adidas, but a much softer midsole feel, which actually makes this one ideal for almost anything. Perhaps not quite as race ready as the Evo SL if you've only got cash to buy 1 pair. The uppers are a little bit more built up in terms of the padding here, especially in the heel collar area. Laces are a little bit stretchy here. That does make it a little bit tougher to get a good lockdown, or at least a consistent one. The upper materials though not too generous, and it's not much of a departure from the Evo SL. I found this one really good for longer efforts, even some recovery like easy day stuff, and if you want to throw some faster clips in there, the Novablast 5 can handle that too. Grip, not perhaps the absolute best in terms of grassy terrain, This rubber is quite sticky, but it is quite soft and smooth, so do stick to the roads and the concrete if you're going to pick this one up. Perhaps not the ideal shoe for like a park run if you're going onto some wet grass or something. Durability of the new Flight Foam Blast Max material does appear to be very, very good so far, and I think this one with the added softness here does bring it into a slightly more sort of daily use kind of role. Bit more alluring to perhaps run in than some of the firmer versions like the 3 or the 4. As such, that makes the Novablast 5 one of the best all-rounders on the market right now. I'll give this one a Botham score of 4 out of 5. Missing out only on a perfect score really due to that smooth outsole rubber, slightly stretchy laces. Might be a little bit too heavy as well to race in this one. Pretty much any run I've tried in the Zoomfly 6 has been a banger. Really enjoyed my miles in this shoe. The 2 foams that they've utilised here in the midsole are so soft as well. The SR02 foam in the heel coming in at a softness rating that's not all that far from the Zoom X. Despite the plate that you've got here in the midsole, I didn't find it too like controlling or rigid. It's a really nice balance, in fact, of the midsole foams here. It's just right, a really nice, smooth, soft operator, and coming in under 300 grams is always great if you want a sort of versatile do-it-all option. Now, traction on this one was amongst some of the best I've tried out. Really do like the stretched waffle lugs here, and there's good coverage as well, despite this section here in the midfoot that's just the exposed foam. I didn't find it to be a problem at all. The rubber, in fact, almost completely untouched over the 100 miles I took this one for. Just feels like there's a nice amount of pop here from the forefoot area of the shoe, and then a resilient, consistent cushion from the heel. Works really well, wet or dry conditions. Even tried it on some wet grass and it performed exceptionally well. Good traction across the board. Yes, the Zoomfly 6 is a bit more expensive than the other 2 models I've covered so far, but at 155 quid, I think the durability's there over time that makes this one a good value go-to option. In fact, I'm thinking about picking up another pair of the Zoomfly 6. You know, the first one I've only got around about 100 miles, and I'm still thinking about getting another pair. There's that new R2D2 version. It is banging. Really have to do my best to hold off picking up another pair. I genuinely think these look stunning as well. A really nice looking running shoe, and it performs as well. Looks like they've crafted this one to fit in with the same kind of design aesthetic as perhaps like the Vaporfly Next Percent 4 or the Alphafly 3. As such, the propulsive yet comfortable nature of these mean a Botham score of 4.9 out of 5. Only improved if they perhaps put some slightly better laces in again. A running theme in this video, no pun intended. The last master of versatility is the Puma Deviate Nitro 3. The Deviate Nitro 2 and the 3 are absolute bangers when it comes to do-it-all stuff. All-round versatility, and it's a plated model as well. I think part of the great ride in this one is down to the drop. It's a little lower. I recorded about 5 or 6, I think. Similar to the Zoomfly 6 in terms of a 2-foam midsole setup with that plate sandwiched between the 2 very soft foams. The Nitro in the heel is a little bit more resilient, a little bit denser perhaps than the SR02 stuff in the Nike shoe, but I really like the inclusion of the newer Nitro Elite material here in the forefoot. Improved traction over pretty much all the shoes in today's video, though that does come at a cost. The shoe is slightly heavier than the others. There's a much thicker slab of the Puma grip here in the forefoot and the heel, and most people will find the others are a little bit softer as well. If you want something that's a bit more consistent, I suppose, perhaps if you're a slightly heavier built runner, then the Deviate Nitro 3 could be right up your street. Slightly lower stack as well. I didn't measure quite as much in the heel area of the Deviate Nitro 3, though if you've got a slightly wider foot you might come a cropper because there's quite a taper on the lateral side here in the toe box. So great for your long runs and your daily stuff. The stability's there as well. The heel area isn't anywhere near as squashy and kind of compressive. Perhaps you could even add it in as a marathon racing option. You don't want that squashy heel there, which is going to actually hinder you towards the end of a longer session. I'll give this a top level 4 out of 5 on the Botham scale. Just wish it was a touch lighter, not so tapered in that toe box. So that's my top 4 do-it-all shoes for you. Which ones do you grab on a daily basis to run just about anything? Let us know your tried and trusted models down in the comments. quick musical interlude for you. Now, with race day almost upon us, the Oval Half Marathon tomorrow, so taking it nice and easy today. I've been getting together my race playlist. I'm going to have the shocks on so I can hear what's going on around me, but also listen to some great sort of pace-setting tunes. That's what I need. I got the likes of AC/DC on there with Go Down and Dog Eat Dog. In fact, there's quite a few there from the Let There Be Rock album. A few Ramones tracks as well. They came in with some BPMs at around about 180 to about 184. So I thought it's probably ideal to include a few of those. And I love the Ramones, you know, one of the coolest bands around, be they sort of crossing genres, I suppose, a bit later in their career. I like the early stuff. I did put The Distance by Cake on there. I know that's kind of like a song that's intended as like a race car kind of driving kind of song, but it seems to hit the spot in terms of the BPM. I had to put some Crazy Cavan and the Rhythm Rockers on there. Bopping and Shaking's there. I think a bit further on I've got another one. Oh yeah, Drinking Wine Spodiodi is a wonderful track. All with manic sort of rhythms as well, so if I can just keep the legs moving at the same pace as some of these tunes, I'll be okay. Couple of drum and bass tracks on there from Andy C in terms of workout, and I think a little earlier I had Home in That Bass, and then a few Andrew WK tracks a little later on to keep up the sort of spirit, you know, almost like positive mental attitude stuff there, just to keep the emotion in the right zone, I suppose. Very seldom I get to run in a race situation with music. This one's on roads, and at times actually there can not be a lot of people around, so I think it's kind of good to have something blaring away in the ears and take your mind off the pain that you might be experiencing. So yeah, there we go, my Yeovil Half Marathon playlist. I think you might find some of that interesting. Even got the time warp in there at one point. I don't know how that happened, but there we go. Thanks for tuning in, people. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up like. Drop us a comment as well to help with the YouTube algorithm. My name's Eddbud. I'll be seeing you